especially you early people. I hope everyone's doing well. And while we're waiting for more people, if you had something good happen this week, share it with the group so we can celebrate your good stuff.
I got my first listing on Monday
Woohoo!
and
Yay, congrats.
it's actually this week might turn into I'm sharing my first two with Josh because he's helping me with those quite a bit. And they're neighboring lots down in Drexel. So I have landed for sale in Drexel if anybody wants that. But then I got listings one, two, and hopefully three all this week, and three I'm sharing with my dad.
Cool.
And so that's good. That's big, fun, exciting things. And none of them are houses. None of them are houses. Two of them are land and one's commercial. So
All right.
trying new things.
That's good
All right, who else?
learning.
Who else has something?
Learning curves. You'll do great.
Well, thanks. Who else has something good to share? Tricia, are you a grandparent?
Not yet, but
Oh, okay.
I will be. That's the
Okay.
whole thing. I will be. Yes, that is going to happen. And I am so excited. The first one. But I will say, my daughter launched her business yesterday that she's been creating and working on for about 3 years. So it was her birthday and she launched her business. So you can go on my Facebook page and see. You can
What,
follow her on Instagram. Really
what,
cool.
what kind of business?
Wedding planning coordinating, but it's a little bit different. She was able to take all the parts of what she loved and didn't love in her own wedding and figure out how to create a company that is affordable. So she has partnered with a lot of vendors who are willing to do things um, more independently and helped it be more affordable for people. So anyway,
Cool.
I know, really cool. Big day for her yesterday.
Gotcha. I see our MCA is on here. Caesar, you got any good news to share with us? Putting you on the spot.
Um, yeah, no. Just Brandy's at a meeting and she had a late night last night coaching after our wealth club, and then she also has a late night tonight with career night. So she
Cool.
was like, "You better take care of your meetings first. I'll go to Sold Mastermind and say hello for you." But
Oh,
no, just grateful to be. We had a great little wealth club meeting yesterday, and just one good thing is the ladies from Kingdom Capital were just bragging about they felt a sweetness in our culture, and that's always encouraging.
that's cool. Good deal. That was without me there even. That's crazy. But so just kidding. So cool. Who else has something good? Crystal, you've been busy with open houses and stuff lately. How is that? How are those going?
Last week I didn't have any traffic. It was graduation weekend, so I was a little disappointed. The weekend before that I was in Creekmore and I had some good traffic. The sign-in sheets have been a game changer for me to get people's information. I feel like it gives them something to walk around with, and it connects me to them from the beginning to the end because they have to come back and give it to me. So that's been a game for me.
Cool. Cool. Good deal. What kind of feedback did you get there in Creekmore?
The house was older, and it needed new carpet, new paint. I even called the listing agent and, they sent me the appraisal over. It was like 50, I, they have it listed, I think 50,000 under the appraisal, but people
Oh,
are still kicking back on it because of the way it looks, but the seller doesn't want to do anything. An elderly couple lived there their whole life and their children are selling it. The elderly couple have passed. And the children don't want to do anything to it. And also in Creekmore, where that is, they won't put a fence up because it's right by the golf course. And so that's a deterrent. So they're having a really hard time selling that house. It's a great home. I mean, the space and the layout I love. It needs updated, and people don't want to spend 650,000 and then put money into it.
I my for 8 years, 9 years, my only canceled listing was one in Creekmore in a similar situation. Older lady, she was like 6 or 8 months behind on her HOA fees, and she was in one of the maintenance provided areas, so her HOA fees were higher.
Yeah.
And she needed carpet. I mean, it was like it needed stretched, replaced because it was all kind of curled, whatever,
Yeah.
buttoned up and stuff. She had some just really crappy decor, like cheap decor, like glass shelves on the walls she put in, or had someone put in cheaply. And it was, at that point, this is before COVID, so it was a high 4-bedroom house at almost 400,000. It's freaking probably 7 now, but at
Yeah.
that point, and I didn't cuss. It was, but she couldn't go down on price because she owed too much money, and yeah, after like 8 months, it became my first canceled listing. So Creekmore, and I've not done anything with it yet this year. I challenged myself to get at least 2 listings in Creekmore this year by marketing directly to that area, and I still have not done it. So that's one of those things in my head that I keep reminding myself I'm going to do that I fail to do. So
Yeah, it was great door knocking. Excuse me. It was great door knocking experience, because what a tactic that I just kind of stumbled upon is whenever I'm going to put an open house sign in somebody's yard, I actually take the opportunity to knock on their door and ask for permission. And it totally puts them in a completely different state of mind. They're not defensive that I'm knocking on the door. They're actually like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for asking. Like, I really appreciate it. And then I'm like, and what's your name? And then we get talking because I want them to talk. I'm like, what do you like about this area? How long have you lived here? And I have built really good conversations just from asking permission.
that's something I always tell myself I should do. I've done it a few times, but I don't do it every time.
Yeah.
It's kind of a no-brainer because they're not going to be annoyed with you as much as some might get when you just are door knocking. You're doing it with a purpose and you're asking permission, so their guard tends
Yeah, I'm not asking them to come to an open house. I'm not asking something. I am asking something from them, but I'm asking them to freely, they have a choice. And I've had a lady say no, and I'm like, absolutely, I completely understand. And she wanted my business card. So
nice.
Crystal, it can work. I have a closing on June 1st, and it's a couple that I knocked on their door at an open house. So my open house was across the street. I knocked on the doors around going, hey, we're having an open house. Here's my number. Should somebody park in front of your driveway or on the edge of your grass, call me. I'll fix it. They called me a year and a half later to sell their home.
That's amazing.
We close on June 1st. So you never know.
Yeah, kindness and respect go a long ways.
What? No way.
Yeah, Paul.
Oh, so and that's a good angle too, Trisha. I've done that too, where you just say, I'm really hoping to have a little bit of traffic here. I apologize if it's inconvenient. It'll only be a couple hours. Feel free to stop by if you're curious what your crazy neighbors did to their house while they've been there.
Yep.
And some of them will stop by just because they appreciated you stopping by. So, so on while we're talking basics with open houses, on my way in here to get into the mastermind, I clicked on I was in the Southland Partner Links thing, which is really nice to have. Thanks, Caesar. And while in there, I clicked on the board duty thing and signed up for like 3 or 4 days of board duty. Ashley, how many, we get 2 or 3 transactions recently or potential transactions from board duty just in the last month?
You got the
senior lady, and then
the senior buyer who will be a seller as well eventually. And then the 2 lots that I got during team meeting last week.
So 4 potential deals from board duty in the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So
yeah,
and we haven't. I've signed up for like 3 board duty shifts, maybe 4 before today, and then Ashley hasn't signed up for like a bunch because she lives an hour and a half away. So just a thought. There's a lot of open shifts on board duty right now. But I wanted to share something with you guys. I was, Darren shared that post the other day. It wasn't one telling us to include our phone number in the office phone number like he generally shares, but you do need to do that. Ashley and I were stalking some of our office team members the other day, and there's several who are doing regular posts without sharing all the information. May or may not be on the call right now. I'm not going to call anyone out, but pay attention to your marketing. Someone else is. Other agents can be petty and report stuff and you don't want to, there's no need to pay a fine just because you forgot to put a phone number or the office information on your whatever you're sharing. And it could be something, hey, I'm having an open house tomorrow. That's advertising, doesn't have to be this house is for sale. This is my newest listing. Anything that indicates you want someone to contact you because you're an agent, you need to be sure you're marketing properly so you don't get fined, because especially if you're not making a lot of money right now, you don't want to get fined. So it's easier to absorb those the busier you get. But the other thing Darren shared was that graphic that showed how agents tend to spend or waste their time. And do you guys remember seeing that? Anybody?
No, I don't remember that.
All right.
Yeah,
Put it in.
it was great.
Yeah, what'd you learn from it? Do you recall?
Well, I was getting ready to try to pull it back up just so I could give
All right.
proper image to it.
So the graphic basically is how agents spend their time. 31% of their time, and I assume this means like during what would be work hours, running errands. Guilty. I buy dog food and groceries, go to Home Depot, all kinds of crap in what would be work hours. The car wash. 29% of the time on social media. Guilty of more than that. But some of mine's business stuff. So, that kind of blends. 18% messing with email. And a lot of my emails end up taking me to some website where I'm looking at maybe buying something from REI. That's not generating me any ROI. But it's having fun looking at stuff I don't really need to buy. And then 3% of our time, on average, of this study was actually spent talking to clients or potential clients. If you doubled that 3%, that's only 6%. I wonder how much more money we'd make. So anybody have any thoughts on that, or anyone want to confess their sins and how guilty they are wasting their time? Don't leave me hanging.
I will say that for a bunch of ADHD people, I think what you just said is a massive key. Just some of the pitfalls of a lot of realtors that, you're amazing with people, you're incredibly brilliant, but, your brain is exploding with stuff all the time. So what you just said is a perfect, practical feedback from a number standpoint. It's like when you took this new course of Bold, they did one of the segments is called the path is in the math, and everything you can connect to numbers. And what you just shared was really powerful, Paul. I appreciate you sharing that. It's about priorities.
Yeah. Who else? Someone else admit your failures on this point. It's okay. It's a safe.
I definitely think it's easier for me to stay focused if I'm on things that are generating production, whether it's marketing, or being on the phone, texting, talking to clients, whatever. If I'm at the office or in a more isolated space, but if I'm like in my living room where my dogs are, and then there's the kitchen and the laundry, there's a lot of other things. I'm like, oh, I can just switch this load over real quick. And then it turns into folding the stuff that's out of the dryer and putting it on hangers, and it goes from a quick switch to load over 30 seconds to, 10 minutes of that.
Well, and then you got to let the dogs out, and then you got to do something else. And all of a sudden it's 11 o'clock and you've done no work. And
right.
But I think one of the hardest parts of our business, for the most part, is we get such a slow return on the work we do. It's kind of like taking vitamins. It's good for you and it's going to benefit you in the long run, but it's really easy just to skip it or forget it, and even, a half-hour workout, you don't see that result immediately, but consistency is where you see the results. And it's the same with our work. And I'm not saying I'm good at this. I'm just saying I'm guilty of not consistently doing the little habits that will generate me more income, more freedom, more comfort, a happier wife, most likely, and possible retirement down the road. I'm 56 and I'm guilty of no retirement funds set aside. I don't know about you guys, whether you're 25 or 55 or am I one of the oldest ones on the call? That's terrible. So, if you haven't been in the position to save for this point, you have limited time if you're around my age or older, and if you're 20 something, you've got you got a lot of time, but start now. And that can compound and greatly enhance your ability to not sell real estate till you're 75. Or do something else, be a Walmart greeter or something fun like that. So, no one else wants to talk about their guilt. We'll forgive you.
I think when I looked at it, didn't it say that the average income was like $42,000?
Yep, 41.7.
Well, I'm like, if that's where people are comfortable being, then you don't mind that sphere that it looks like.
Right.
So
Sure.
I think people have to weigh out. So when I look at that and I'm like, okay, I want to make, 4 times that. How am I going to have to adjust that to make that work for me?
Good
So
point.
I think also I wonder when it says they're on social media if they're actually talking to people or just running through it. And I mean, you can look at people, but that's not going to give you any relationships, just reading their stuff. So I think it's how you use those moments. So, I mean, I'm guilty of all of the negatives at some point or another. And I feel like tend to be a little bit of a pendulum, and I'll do really well in one area, and then I have to swing over and try to grab all the areas I let fall, and then I have to come back over here. I think I struggle being consistent in all of them at the same time.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
I struggle I procrastinate when I'm not really sure or nervous about getting started with something. And then I occupy my time with things that I am more comfortable with, but they're not necessarily generating what I want them to generate right then. Like right now, I need to write a contract and I am a little nervous about doing it. And so I found myself pulling up listings for another client that I am working with. What I really need to be doing is focusing on that contract and doing the comps for that. So I have blocked off my entire after my 11:30 appointment, my entire afternoon, and I am not leaving until that is completed. But I really should have started it yesterday and found myself just going down these rabbit holes of, oh, let's look at this and oh, but looky over here. So that's where I struggle.
Something that might help with that. It's something I implement every now and then. I'm actually started an ADHD medication about 2 months ago. I haven't felt results yet. They increased the dose once. Still haven't felt results yet. It's really frustrating. I thought it would give me superpowers. Not realistically, but something that you might try it's called the Pomodoro technique. And basically the concept is Pomodoro means tomato. I don't know why it's actually called the Pomodoro technique, but basically you get a timer, your phone, oven timer, whatever, set it for 30 minutes. Set yourself up before you set that timer, whatever the project you're going to work on, have it ready to go, set the timer for 30 minutes and make yourself focus for 30 minutes on whatever that task is. And then reward yourself with like a 10-minute break. And it's kind of like in the ADHD brain, we tend to like deadlines and we tend to procrastinate and not do stuff until the day before it's due. Anybody relate? No, I'm the only one. The only one. All right. So it's just a natural thing for people with ADHD, and it's also a natural thing for a lot of people in sales to have ADHD. So it's just, you got to embrace it. It can either be a superpower or a detriment or a combination. But if you are able to make yourself focus for 30 minutes, most of us can do that. Although it's hard when you get a trillion notifications from your phone. So maybe you get your phone away from you, silence it for that half an hour, and then you get your dopamine hit checking your phone out at that 10-minute break. Now, you guys know what I'm talking about. That's my suggestion, Lisa. Try that out.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Even 20 minutes, whatever, start somewhere and just say, all right, I'm focused, turn everything off, focus on that task. And it's really hard with, like, I use an iPad. I still get all the stupid notifications on there. So there is a focus mode on an iPad where you can turn off stuff. And I don't use it because I still have this fear of missing notifications. It's stupid. So it's a lot of this is mental, and I feel like a basket case dealing with it sometimes. So, but another, part of Darren's thing is our habits, and if any of you have heard about or read Atomic Habits by James Clear, he talks about habit stacking. And most of you probably heard us mention that at least. And it's the idea that if you want to add in a new habit, interlace it with some existing habits. Hopefully, all of us brush our teeth and take a shower on a regular basis. And don't raise your hand if you don't. But if you're going to brush your teeth in the bathroom sink every morning and you want to start taking vitamin D because you're supposed to take more vitamin D, put your vitamins in there by your glass of water where you brush your teeth. Add that habit in. But I was also thinking about other habit stacking I do. If I go into Quick Trip to get my Coke Zero because I don't drink Coke anymore because it made me fat, it's really tempting to grab a donut or a bag of chips, which kind of counteracts that Coke Zero. Anyone relate? Or you go to a movie, you got to get the freaking popcorn and the candy. And that's habit stacking still because it's all associated with that activity. The other day, anyone have a chair or your spot in the living room in front of the TV? Anyone? Don't make me be the lone person here. Raise your hand. You have your specific chair, or maybe your husband has a chair no one else can sit in. I know some of you can relate to that. All right. So recently, I was going to sit in my chair to watch TV and drink my Coke Zero and probably lay there, sit in my chair for 4 hours watching something stupid on Netflix. And I think one of the kids was sitting in my chair. And I sat on the couch, and it was not comfortable at all because I always sit in my chair. And there was no way I was going to sit there for 4 hours watching Netflix, and I wasn't going to doze off for half an hour. And I probably wasn't going to eat the crappy snacks that I might be tempted to eat because my whole routine was screwed up. And so my point is, if you get these routines that leads to these other negative things, maybe switch the habit up and see if it changes other behaviors, like maybe not watching 4 hours of Netflix and maybe doing an hour of work in the meantime. So any thoughts on that? I'm not going to ramble for the whole hour, I promise.
Mm-hmm.
So I did something to kind of change that up because my boyfriend's gone a lot for work. So I have to stay up here a little more than I had been to like take care of like dogs and things because we have old lady dogs. And I focus a lot better and work a lot better if I can be away from them. So I went to Walmart and bought a new patio table so I can sit outside while they're inside. And I seem to be able to focus better, and it's nice weather and stuff too. Then I feel like I'm getting to enjoy the outside while I'm still being productive. But it was changing where I'm sitting at home from sitting in the living room or in my office where the dogs are crying at the door to sitting outside is changed. I mean, I sat out here for like 4 hours the other day and just plugged away on some database stuff. And it felt like no time had passed at all because I was just enjoying the nice weather.
Gotcha. Anyone else?
I have a hard time with how our job is really fluctuating. Like we don't just have a set schedule of 8 to 5, clock in, clock out. And so even if you have systems or you have time blocked off, like life happens. Like this morning, I'm going to go help my grandma get ready for the day while my mom's out of town. And so normally I would have gone into the office, been on this call at 10, done focus group from 11:30 to 12:30, but I have to adjust my day. And one of the things I love about real estate is that I get to do that. I get to adjust my day. I have the freedom to love other people in my life. But I have to stay disciplined that, okay, if I'm not going to do lead gen from 11:30 to 12:30, if I don't make it there in time, then I'm going to go into the office this afternoon and I'm going to do lead gen on myself for an hour. I'm just going to move it, but I have to be disciplined with myself to move it rather than say, well, I guess I just didn't get to it. And if I had a full day in the afternoon, I may not get to it, but I have to make that decision based off what I have going on. And that I think is the challenge of juggling this job.
Yeah, it's the freedom is a double-edged sword, that's for sure. You know, I went for a while where I'd sleep in till 10 several years ago because I could. Or my previous job, I was at work by before 6, and that was an hour from home. So, you know, and I really enjoyed the fact that I could sleep in, but I'd made no money sleeping in till 10 o'clock and then getting up and getting around. So, and it also wasn't good for my health. What else? Anyone else have anything to relate on this topic? All right, Shelby, I have a question for you. Are you available?
Yes, sorry, I was trying to hit unmute.
That's okay. So I'm going to put you on the spot because there's something that I think you've been doing well the last few years, and I want to get some insight that maybe can be helpful for the group. So you've been busy. I observed because not only do we work together, we're practically neighbors. You've been doing something very intentional to set yourself apart from other agents, right? Would you agree?
Oh,
All right, let's talk about
I
pink.
don't know. Okay, that's true.
Yeah. So being different, you know, standing out from the group is how you're building what we would call building a brand, right?
It was totally unintentional. It was literally because my previous corporate boss wouldn't let me do stuff in pink.
All right. So I wonder if the rest of you could somebody help me out. When you think of Shelby, and be nice, when you think of Shelby and her brand, what do you identify with her?
Pink
Well, I
and
was at
cowgirl
a
for sure.
store yesterday or day before up at Bobby's Cookies up there by Lowe's, and I've known
Yes.
Bobby for years. We're friends. And asked me if Shelby, she said, "Is Shelby in your office?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she goes, "She is so sweet and in her pink, and she's so funny and blah, blah, blah." And so we were just talking about how Shelby celebrates people and uh, is a encourager, and that I think is really
Oh,
optimistic. So you are well known
oh,
for that already, even out of this office.
oh my gosh, I love Bobby. She
She's
gets me every
precious.
time.
Yeah.
She is. Yes. Oh, that is so sweet. Oh, thank you.
Does,
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Let me
Thank
ask,
you.
does anyone else associate anything, any types of properties with Shelby? I'm curious. Anybody?
I kind of associate Shelby with acreage properties.
Yeah.
Just because it seems like she sells a lot of acreage and she's always in cowboy boots and it just I don't know if she sells mostly acreage, but that's what my thought is.
Shelby, was that part of your unintentional goal?
Yep. Yep. It just happened. That's what my niche is. Because, yeah, that's my niche.
All
But
right.
I like the cookie cutter houses in the city that have sewer and not septic. So
Oh, true,
the
true.
country houses, they're sometimes a lot of work because they're
Right.
a lot harder to upkeep. So I that's another thing with staging. Um most people don't have plain colored bedspreads and fake plants in their house. If you live in the country, you don't have that fancy stuff because you don't care about that stuff because you're outside. So, but for picture aesthetics, that's nice to be able to just help people stage and make that, picture perfect for people to see it. And then when they're there in person, that helps. But yeah, this was all unintentional. I did not realize I was building a brand when I went with my color pink at all.
All right. Well, but
So
it's working, right? So
it's working.
I mean, your signs, your outfits, your hat is part of your brand, and apparently an attachment, and I agree to land and acreage is. I mean, you live on it; it makes sense, right? I mean, I'm the same way. I don't live on as much acreage as you or your family's, familiar with. I don't have room for horses, but um, there's an association that people will make with you, and good or bad. And that's the thing. We can brand ourselves poorly too. But I just wanted to give you kudos, and it,
Thank
it's
you.
it's working. So maybe take it to the next level. And I suggest all of us, think about how do you want to be identified as an agent? Is there a type of property or properties you want to be identified with? And I mean, I've heard agents talk about a friend of theirs bought an investment property and didn't use them because they didn't know they helped people with investment properties. And maybe you don't want to mess with investment properties. They're a different beast. But so I just really wanted to give um, Shelby kudos because she's doing something a little different than the rest of us. And she says it's unintentional, but I think she's smart enough to know that being a little different and standing out from the crowd is worthwhile. And so good job. But
Thank you.
you're
Yeah,
welcome.
totally unintentional. But yeah, people do, yeah, the pink. But the pink could have a adverse effect. Like people like it if they know me, but if I was trying to sell in Leawood $1 million home, are they really going to go for the pink sign? No, they're going to want a luxury sign. But
True.
that's not. I would love to work with those people, though. I wouldn't have to dig up septic lids, so
But
I could get different signs if that's what it took. But
what if
for
it
the most part,
what if it was a black luxury looking sign with a little bit of pink? You know,
oh, that's true.
so,
Yes,
so
yep,
I mean,
that's true.
you could still tie your brand into it. But
Pink
I
and
know an agent in I think she's in New Jersey. She's all about a yellow dress. I'll ever picture
oh,
a yellow dress, and it's on her cards, on her billboards, on her website. A yellow dress. I don't know if she has any other clothes, but it's always a yellow dress. So I mean, and that's part of her brand. There's a guy. If you're bored, look up Stash STSH Real Estate in Dallas. This guy down there has got one of those big old mustaches that comes all the way to his ears almost, and it's got his logo on his car, his truck. It's all Stash Real Estate. That's his brand. I don't know that I want to commit to a mustache for the rest of my life. That wouldn't work for me. But this guy apparently it works for him. But if you look it up, it's his marketing is kind of interesting. So there's just whatever you works for you, build on it, and you will attract people who want to be your people. And that's generally who we want to work with, anyways. I'd much rather work with someone with a similar mindset as myself than someone who feels like they have to work with me and they don't want to work with me. So I don't know, just a thought. So think about brand, how you want to be identified and how, others perceive you, it can really help you. And ChatGPT can help you with that too. So um, anyone else have any concerns going on?
Yes.
Go for it.
Trying to figure out the pipeline, having I set my goals and I'm like, okay, so I don't have stuff coming. I mean, I've got some buyers that I'm going to be working with and, down the road, maybe some selling. And it's like, wow, it's kind of tricky when it's like, okay, what do I need to do? And I find myself, doing a lot of different things instead of focusing on one thing. And looking at my pipeline, I'm like, oh, I need to have some more sellers in there and buyers that are looking more closely as far as not in September, and just trying to figure this out because I feel like I'm a little scattered. Like I'm calling for sale by owners and I'm calling expireds and I'm going door knocking and I just feel like I'm scattered and maybe don't feel like I'm making traction anywhere, actually. That's how I feel.
Didn't you take on? You're back in the curves business these days, right?
Yes.
How do you spend quite a bit of time with that too?
No,
No.
no, and it's not going too well.
Uh,
We're putting money into it every month
mm,
because it's not paying the bills, and I'm actually very discouraged with it. I thought about doing some kind of class there about real estate, and I haven't been motivated to be there, or I've just been discouraged with it, and I kind of feel like I'm done. And it's like I feel like I'm too scattered, too much with
yeah,
14 grandkids and real estate and curves, and yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
So I haven't really. I do call the curves people a lot as far as that's my database, and I call them just to check in on them and stuff like that,
yeah.
but I haven't really utilized to the fullest. I haven't done smart plans. I haven't, sent people golden letters or whatever. And I'm just, like I said, I just feel like I'm spinning my wheels.
Yeah. You've got limited energy and limited brain power. Yeah, we all do, and I could see where that would kind of cause you to be stuck.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
only expend so much energy, and then all of a sudden you're not going to be sleeping worth a darn, and then your days
Yeah.
are even more stressed out. And
Hmm.
you know, maybe it's sit and talk to your husband and figure out, how can we do something a little different with time, even if it's a couple hours a week of less of something. Maybe you need to rest, a vacation. I don't know,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but I was just curious how that was going because you sold it and then what you bought back in to help keep it going,
Yeah. Yes. Hmm.
and then now it's struggling still. So
Well, it's still struggling. And, I have a partner now, which I'm so grateful for because if it was all me, there's no way I could do it. And like I said, putting in $500 a month to curves is just really, it's just making me mad actually, because I'm thinking, what am I doing? I'm like, this
yeah,
is not my idea. I mean, I need to be putting away for retirement and, like helping my family, not helping
right,
the curves ladies. And so I'm little, but it's my fault. I did it. I mean, I take responsibility for jumping back in.
sure.
I
Well,
was free. I was free.
yeah, and that doesn't mean you can't change that though.
Yeah.
But taking responsibility is the biggest part. And do you really have 14 grandkids?
Yes.
Wow, it'd be cool to have one, but so not like Trisha someday. So,
I'm gonna be a grandmother. In case you guys forgot from last time I
but yeah,
I've got 9 under 7, and they're all local, and it's just a lot. And I love it, but I want to spend time with them. But it's just a lot.
well, I don't know. Are you having any time for yourself?
Not much. No.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
I challenge you to
I
make that a priority.
Well, I wake up really early, like 4:30, so I could have, an hour of quiet time in the morning before exercise and other stuff. So,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I,
Anyway,
I
whatever.
bet I bet
I'm not complaining, but
yeah,
you know, whatever.
But I go backpacking sometimes, and not often enough, as far as I'm concerned. And while it's physically demanding, Josh and I will go. It also recharges my head, my soul,
Yeah.
and gets my
Yeah.
brain focused. I might come home with blisters and be in pain sometimes, but it's therapeutic, and I think we've got to make that time for ourselves. I mean, and frankly, you and we aren't getting any younger.
Yeah.
It takes a little more time to recharge sometimes. And I
Mm-hmm.
challenge you to talk to Perry, say, hey, let's do a weekend, get away from all the craziness, and
Yeah.
for a weekend, and go stay in an Airbnb an hour away. You don't have to do anything really expensive. Just escape
Yeah.
for a week.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my challenge for you to help. But it's my therapy session for the day. But yeah, I feel you. I don't have that many grandkids or any, but I can totally understand how that would be stressful. You want to,
Yeah.
you're a mom, you want to, and grandma, you want to please, and you only have so much energy. So,
Well, and the thing is, when that thing that Darren put on Facebook about, or maybe I'm not sure if it was Darren or I heard something on YouTube or something that 71% of the real estate agents did not make one sale last year.
yeah,
And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. But I think all of us want to make more sales, and it's just, okay, how do we do it? You know what I mean?
sure,
Yeah, yeah. So
yeah,
anyway,
and yeah, and so I think the biggest challenge, kind of going along with what Krista was
Jason.
talking about, the time and how we have so much time, we can do stuff. We just have to choose what to fill that time with. But I think sometimes there are so many options for marketing approaches. Like you mentioned, for sale by owners, door knocking, open houses, whatever. And if you've got the time and the energy, sure, try a bunch of them. But if you've got limited time to focus on it, choose one or two things and be the best at whatever that is. Learn, dig into that thing and learn as much as you can, but don't wait to work till you learn everything, and dig into something and just say, I'm going to be the open house queen or whatever for the next 6 months.
Mhm.
That's kind of one of Crystal's things. And she's done quite a few. And, choose one thing, narrow it down, say,
Yeah.
I'm going to do this one thing and I'm going to do it well. And then when I see success with that and I feel a little less stressed because I'm making some money, then I'll add something else, or I'll pivot and do something different. And 6 months down the road, if that one thing's not giving you results, and giving you some peace, and
Has
so
anybody ever dug into those numbers about how many agents don't sell anything? Because I've heard that a bunch of those are people that maybe just get their license so that they can answer the phones at places, or um aren't actively working. Like they have their license and they renew it, but they're not actually, they have another
I
job
couldn't
and they're
find
just
it.
not working it.
I
I wish
I
we could
can
get oh, go ahead,
I can
Stephen.
speak to that as an MCA because a large part of my MAPS coaching is talking about the agents within our offices that don't produce. And so, like, you can take, like, and I'm not going to call out another office, but if they have 600 agents, literally like 450 don't produce,
Mm,
or 400 may not even close one deal. Like, it's crazy, the percentage. And which also highlights an amazing strength about Southland, because one of the things we focus here is not necessarily recruiting intent, like above loving on our people. We focus on retention and really building up the people we have. So one of the ways we've been breaking records in most recent years, a couple of years, we've broken a lot of all-time records. I think we've averaged half a dozen to 10 every year the last 3 years, is by building up our people that typically maybe they did one deal or no deals. If we can get them to do 5 deals, and if they did 5 deals, if they want to do 10 deals, like incrementally. And
hmm
so there is a lot of truth to that, and going just a little bit back to what Joanna said, um, that Joanna, I really appreciate you sharing that, because I think it's so cool when you got newer agents that hear that from, an OG that is like, legit. producing and you do great, Joanna, but it's the reality of real estate. It's the territory. You pack the pipeline and then nothing's happening. And all of a sudden, it starts happening. And then it's like, I got nothing going on. But another thing that I was going to tell you, one of the things, speaking of Shelby, Brandy has a thing for that you can sit with her. And if you have never taken the KPA test, it's basically not a personality assessment. It's more of what's called a behavior matrix. It kind of identifies your behavior nature, not your personality. So it tells you how you're wired. And then she has an amazing AI tool that she runs it through, and she tells you your marketing, like the top 5 things that you should be doing. And if I remember correctly, I don't know if you're still on, Shelby, or if you're engaged, but when Shelby did it with Brandy, it was like a lot of the things that she was kind of already doing were literally on her things to do, like you should be doing. And then Brandy helps identify things you shouldn't that go against how you're wired. And that was shocking. And what's cool about Shelby is like literally some of the core things that she was already starting to be drawn to was on this thing that Brandy read to her. And so it was like finding your lane, and obviously we each have different strengths and things that we are good at. Your type of lead gen and farming can look entirely different. For example, I'm 6'5", 285 pounds. I know I don't look that big, but if you saw me, I cannot door knock. I can't door knock. People, you hear alarm systems going on. And this is a true story. I can't hardly even walk, especially if I have a t-shirt on, through a parking lot. Full grown men are locking their doors. So door knocking is not gonna, I don't care. You couldn't pay me to door knock because there will be police called. I just look like a scary guy. And I've thought about walking. Oh, you have 3 Shih Tzus. I thought about taking 2 of them, walking 2 Shih Tzus. Doesn't help. And so part of, kind of joking a little bit, but part of like, I appreciate,
You need to
uh,
borrow Shelby's pink shirt then, Caesar.
yeah, go from the cops to the FBI on that one.
Mm.
But at the end of the day, like I think part of it's amazing, Joanna, because how you're talking is not how I see you, like how a lot of us see you. You are very good at what you do. And I think sometimes, like they say, exhaustion and burnout is not necessarily that you're doing too much. It's that you're doing a little bit of too many of the wrong things so that they're not like alignment with, you know, who you are. And one more statement. I used to be mentored by this guy. He's actually still my mentor, but he moved to Austin. And he used to say, the best way to ride a horse is in the direction that it's going. And what he's saying was like, find your nature, find your temperament, find your strengths, and go with that flow instead of working against it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So if you would like, I'm sure Brandy would love to go. It's really a powerful exercise. And what it does is it relieves you. It's just kind of like, okay. Because you go to classes and you hear somebody get up and say, this is what I do. And you're like, I'm not, that's not, you know what I'm saying? It'd be like me going to a door knocking class. I would be a waste of my time. So anyhow.
Yeah, I think I saw someone share a Ring camera video of Caesar door knocking, and they were really curious what was going on in the neighborhood. So,
I that it's what is it called? A kappa test? What's it called again, Caesar?
The test is called KPA, and it's something that
Yeah.
that we pay for, by the way. And if you've never taken it, it's the most mind-boggling thing. It will tell you things about yourself that you take the test and you're like, how did all that come from that test? But it does really help, you know.
It was a game changer, yeah, because it gave me a whole description of like me and my business, and then yeah, it did definitely go into like what things I am good at and what things I do not enjoy doing, and I was trying to do the things that I do not enjoy doing and failing very hard at them. So please take the time and go take that test with Brandy. It's so easy and it's fun, and she goes over it with you, and it's just a game changer. So it's so easy.
So
it,
thank you, Shelby. One more thing, just a word of instruction. If you want to take the test, you email me, let me know, or text my phone. Text me, I will email you a link. And then once you get the results, we can set up a time with you and Brandy. But the first step is to let me know. I can hook you up. It's a free thing that we pay for. And then once you get the results, then you can set up a time with Brandy.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I've done it a couple of times over the years because you never stand in the same river twice. Things change as we get more experienced or more exposed to things. Um,
If
but go ahead.
if you that is something you want to do, just as a heads up, it's not something you can go out of and get back into. So when you click on it to do it, give yourself half an hour, 45 minutes to actually sit there and work on it.
With no distractions because you can't. You want to get the cleanest results. Um, so I was going to say something else that's that kind of test and the book Who Not How and other things can help you with. Maybe I've talked to agents in the past who were terrified of listing appointments because then that meant they had to figure out how to fill out a contract. So that's kind of a stupid way to be stuck because someone else can help you with that contract. And maybe marketing is bogging your brain down and getting you stuck because you don't know how to set up something in command. And you're like me and you've been here a while and you still don't want to necessarily spend days learning command. Maybe there's someone that can help you with that for a little bit of money, to either set it up for you, show you it, or if you're just not at a point where you want to make time for that, maybe they can help you create smart plans, get people set up. Maybe a transaction coordinator can alleviate that stress. I tell you, I am so thankful I have one. She's kind of challenging sometimes, but she's been a licensed agent for 30 years, so she's got a lot more insight and stubbornness sometimes, but she's very helpful, and there are lots of good options for that. So you don't have to have that in the back of your mind holding you back from getting clients, because if you don't have to stress about that part of it, the other part's a little easier. So just a thought, and frees up some time. So and you don't pay them unless you close a deal, so it's not costing you money out of pocket. So any thoughts on anything else? We got just 8 minutes or so.
I have a question that someone in here may be able to help with. We've got a property that one of those two lots, the legal description isn't good. It's basically they have it set up as an estate. So it's Shipley Estates Lot 2. And it doesn't have a recorded deed because they split up the property and stuff. It's all been recorded with the city and the state in regards to all the surveys and all of that. But no one can seem to give us a good legal description. Who do you guys recommend? Do you have somebody you'd reach out to with the city, county, state, whatever? I guess it'd be county or state. Anybody have any suggestions on that to help us? Because I can only list one of the two lots right now because I don't have a legal description.
It'd be the county recorder's office. It'd be the one that would have that.
The county on their tax records, it just says lot 2. Is that acceptable? I guess is that acceptable?
That would basically be it. So yeah, because there's several of those that would be that way.
The title Kofelt can get that information.
Kofelt was able to get Shipley Estates Lot 2.
Okay, never mind that.
So I guess is that acceptable? I haven't done land and we don't have it. Is that an acceptable legal description for a lot?
It should be.
As long
Are
as
you talking about the Shipley lots down in Drexel that are like 8 to 10 acres?
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
Oh, phenomenal. Good job.
Yeah, we're listing
That's
lots 1 and 2 because I know you sold one of them. You helped buy one of like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
That was a board duty call.
That was my board duty call last week.
No way.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
They called they called because they wanted to work with a new agent. They were listed with an agent. They canceled for 2 years.
Yeah,
They canceled with that agent and we're on a 3-month listing agreement right now. But their plan, if we don't sell in 3, is to renew to 6. Otherwise, I'm charging them for photography because we're still paying Ryan either way.
Yeah, definitely. I
But
can't remember
yeah,
what the legal description was on
it,
my
any
clients.
I looked and all I could see was Shipley Estates lot, whatever number.
Let
Yeah,
me pull up those documents because they had everything. They went through a company in Lee Summit for the survey.
Yeah, it's like
What is
it's,
that name?
and I've
Meyer
got the
Miller.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll talk to you separate,
So,
Shelby, on that.
okay. Yeah. That's awesome. Congratulations, guys. That's a good one.
Thanks.
So sweet.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I I have a quick part 2 question, and if somebody has an answer, you can answer me separate so we don't take up people's time when they maybe don't care. Um, or maybe it's not relevant.
all right,
Part
go ahead.
2 of that is we're hoping to provide some basic information of like, this is who you would need to contact to connect water and do that stuff. So if anybody has a little more information on that, and that may just be something Shelby can help me out with too. Um,
Yeah, I
but
was
we
talking.
want to
Go ahead.
go ahead.
I was talking to Ashley and well, talking to ChatGPT and Ashley and Josh because they're sharing those listings. And I suggested, because they're on the market for 2 years, even though they're doing a small price reduction, that they need to sell it as this is what it could look like with your new barn door here, or and then have answers, because most people haven't built a house, and you could say, yeah, this is what it costs to get a septic. Rustlin can help with that. Oh, my light burned out. And this is what, getting the power. This is what it looks like, a driveway. This is what it looks like. Here's a builder who can help you build it, whether you want a barn door or you want a house, and maybe even a visual, like ChatGPT can make up some image of a barn door on there, and you could be a whole different level of agent by saying, I'm not just selling 7.5 acres, I'm selling a home, and you design it, and here's the people to help you do it. So that's what I was talking with the kids and suggesting that they market it differently, because they only got 3 months to get it sold. So
I can help you on the water. My client has to bore underneath the highway to get to our water. So I can help you with that. And then I have to go back and look at my notes on the electrical. They did the price to compare on building a barn dough versus the house, and it was less expensive to build a conventional house. So it takes a lot of money to build a house like that. We went through, gosh darn it, what is his name? Arvest Bank. I'll send you his contact information. And he was the one that was able to help us get the land and then figure out the loan thing. And there's something to do with like $500,000 if you have between that and the loan on the house, that they don't make you put any money down. I'm not well versed in all of that stuff, but my client was able to make it happen. So that was an option. You can also suggest that they can live in a camper on the property while they build. You do have to get a permit through Cass County, which is absolutely ridiculous that you have to pay to live in a camper on your property. But Cass County has the rules, and just follow them, because they'll shut your building down if you don't. I'm not speaking from experience at all. Um, so, in my defense, it was just a stinking porch, but whatever. So, but that's an option too, so that it's not just, open to anybody. And my client is really, really sweet. So, it wouldn't be a bad idea to make connections with her, and then to have everything being kind of monitored. If they can't live out there all the time, she would definitely make a phone call if she noticed somebody that shouldn't be there. So hope that's all helpful.
awesome. All right. Well, everyone, I appreciate you being here today, and I hope there was something of value that came out of this. and keep doing the good stuff. Have a great day.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, everybody. That's great.
Have a good day.
Bye. Thank you.